dub dub.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Your book of life will buy you a mild accepting. My free mind will keep me from under your spell. And when we die, you'll be another angel in heaven. But me, I'll be a fucking legend in hell. Your book of life will buy you a mild accepting. My free mind will keep me from under your spell. And when we...
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. We have very active lifestyles. It's not all wandering the countryside aimlessly or scaring passing motorists. And we all love a good cup of joe. And there's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. Bold, robust, delicious. It's coffee that can wake the dead. With over a dozen different roasts and flavors, Deadly Grounds can satisfy the most finicky of coffee addicts. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Wow.
And here we are. We're now live for the inaugural episode of Still Toking With. My name is Leo Pine. I'll be one of your hosts tonight, and we have an awesome group of people with you today. The men of the hour that put all this together. We have Benjamin Bartlett. Jeff.
How's it going?
And our very special guest, we have Philo Barnhart.
Long and prosper.
Second generation Disney legend. And last but not least, Charles D. Moisant from Silver Phoenix Entertainment, sir.
Yes.
Thank
Kill
you.
Those zombies.
And I'll kick it over to Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, how is everybody doing tonight?
You're nice.
Very good. I want to welcome you guys to our premiere.
I'm stabbing you in the head.
Oh, don't stab me. Get the fuck
You're
out
a
of here.
zombie. I'm stabbing you.
We have a couple of special guests with us. We have Philo Barnhart. For those of you who aren't familiar with who he is, I will let him tell you in a few minutes. We also have Charles Moisant with us. And
That's me.
That's the guy up. Yeah, that's him.
I have long hair.
Yeah, on the face too.
Yes,
Yes, because you like to tickle things.
I do. With my nostrils.
Handlebar.
It actually comes out and can strangle zombies.
Uh-huh. And of course, we've got Ben, the other half of the Token Dead here. Leo Pond from the door. A big shout out to you for helping us put our first show together. Really appreciate it.
Of course. Always welcome to help.
Hey. So Philo, why don't you introduce yourself?
Well, my name is Philo Barnhart, as you've already heard, and I enjoyed a long career making TV shows and movies that were
For
animated.
for who? For yourself?
Well, I started with Hanna-Barbera in the late 70s and got to do things like Godzilla and Super Friends. It was already their 5th season, I believe, by then. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. Got to do a lot of Wonder Woman and Batman and Superman. And those pesky Twin Powers folks. Wonder Twin Powers.
Wonder
Activate.
Twin Powers, activate! Love it. Good times.
And then later Smurfs with the studio and various other shows. But then I moved into movies, starting with Star Trek: The Motion Picture, and then right after that, back into animation with Secret of Nim. So things just went up exponentially from there.
Good times. Sounds like good times to me.
Yes, it was a lot of fun.
Nice. So, you creepy guy in the corner.
What? The one with all the hair. You gonna?
Yes.
Would you like to introduce yourself and tell our viewers a little bit about what you're all about, other
Yes,
than playing
I'm
with
Colonel
yourself in the corner?
Moisant of Silver Phoenix Entertainment. I publish horror and educational comics. See, you got reusable ammo here.
He's also into zombies.
Yeah,
I
the
never
Zombie
would've guessed.
Annihilation is one of my books. Look at that, great Dr. Zarvin. But look at this. Oh no, zombies, so terrifying.
Yes, folks, he has lost his mind.
No, that's the best part. I mean, look how scary this is.
He's
Read
around
this
the
out
bend.
loud.
Ah!
And then you got like, dear reader, is that you they see? Will you be next?
Excuse me.
Scary. No, but I publish educational and horror comics for a living. I don't know which one is scarier. And another thing I do is Philo and we do travel to conventions across the country. Part of the reason for that is to allow the fans to have an amazing experience because, who in their right mind would actually get to meet Philo Barnhart? One of the creators of Little Mermaid. But
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
it's out of control,
It's amazing.
But, we'll like go to conventions. I'll be on roller. Oh yeah, my roller skates.
Hey, look, squirrel.
Yeah. No squirrels allowed here. They're all eaten.
Focus.
Yes.
And any deer that come in contact with Charles gets
Have
eaten.
been used to kill zombies. Uh-oh.
Isn't that right, Charles?
Yeah.
Any deer that comes near you gets eaten immediately.
We hate deer. Deers are mother muckers. They're a-hole things. They deserve to be crushed.
Well, we recently hit one. This is where
No,
this is
it
all
ran
coming
into
from.
us. We did not
Yeah.
hit it.
Yeah.
You
Deer
forgot to
should
remind me
stop.
to shut the heater off.
Oh,
We do not like deer. Deer should all be killed.
that must have been scary.
Well, it was
What?
weird because it was a really creepy, foggy night. And, Philo is like half asleep, half awake. And I'm listening to some music, and I just all of a sudden see this giant head, that just like, yeah.
Don't talk about Philo's head like that. That's
No,
not giant.
no. He was on his own
I'm
side.
just as
This
God
car was
made
so
me.
big, it had 2 zip codes. It was ridiculous. It was a GMC car. I did not like it. It was just boxy. It was weird. Blind spots galore. It was an annoying car. I did not like it. But it was so creepy. It was like the Mist type creepy, foggy night. And I just see this deer head, and it almost looked like somebody had a deer head on a stick. The way it was just galloping in front, and then the front of the car hits the shoulder of it. Then its hip, boom, hits the door. I see its creepy doe eye just look at me like, why am I in pain?
Oh no.
And then as it flings and falls to the side, a semi truck runs over it, and all the stuff in the rear hits us, and we pull over, and and actually my mother was driving. My mother was driving. That's in the report. My mother was driving, but it just turned out.
Hey, Charles.
Yeah.
Was your mother driving?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to confirm.
Yeah. That's what insurance and everything. So, but the reality is it kind of tore off the front end of the car.
They'll do that.
Yeah.
Fortunately, because of the height of the vehicle, the deer didn't like fly in, smash in the window, and start like bucking and clawing away at Philo's face. Like, oops. Could you imagine with these big, huge gouges and chunks of flesh missing on them?
Wow.
Okay. So, anyway,
You
back
make
to the
comic
show.
books. So do I. So we're independent comic guys. So you in the middle, start talking. Actually sound intelligent. This is your show, not mine. So what's it about? What are you about? What's Toking Dead about?
Talking.
It's not well, this show is all about anniversaries, is it not?
Wait, whose anniversary?
It's
See
the
how I'm fingering Philo there? You see that?
Actually,
Philo likes it. He's actually bent up.
I
saying,
don't know how to
"Please."
taste that.
Wait, why give me?
I made him blush.
Give me more.
just a heads up. What you see is could be totally different for everybody else. So the camera locations could be different. So
Right.
you could have been fingering somebody else. You know.
Ew,
I could've been.
fingering me. That hurts.
Ow. As long as you're not fingering yourself.
Okay,
I just
so
did that.
basically, from what I understand, because this is the 30th anniversary of The Little Mermaid and the 40th anniversary of Star Trek: The Motion Picture,
Yep.
you're like, oh my God, Philo, I
Yeah.
want you on the air and tell us more. So why the hell am I here?
For moral support.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank God. Thank you.
Yeah,
You look fun.
Nice.
you're a fellow zombie guy.
Right.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Nice, Philo.
Nice fun.
Nice, Philo. So,
Nice, Philo.
tell us,
Thank you, Terry.
tell us a little bit about how it was working on The Little Mermaid, where it's the 30th anniversary. I mean, that's kind of a big deal.
Yes, well, the film was released in '89. I actually started it in '87, and with the hopes of starting on pre-production on Ariel right away, the character of the Little Mermaid herself.
Mm-hmm.
But it turns out I had to wait a while for Dan Haskett, the artist they had procured from New York, to come out and work with me. So in the meantime, I got to start on Ursula instead. So
Awesome.
she has a real special place in my heart because she was the first character I got to touch.
Nice.
I actually got to meet Pat Carroll too. We had just moved into the main building from the trailers where we started the film.
Wow.
Directly across the street from the main building in Glendale. So, but eventually Dan did make it out, and we started working on Ariel and coming up with concepts for how she was going to look. And many people had already started concepts of her, and we already knew we wanted long hair and probably red too. So we all fought for red hair.
It must be something with redheads. I don't mean to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
it has to be something about redheads. I mean, you're speaking of Ariel being redhead, and if you know anything about the comic book, Piper, one of the main characters in our comic book, is a redhead.
Yeah.
What is it with redheads? Is it something special?
It's a secret
They-
fantasy in most guys'
they-
minds.
Yeah.
Okay.
They do have kind of like a power over the rest
Yes.
of us because they are unique. And most of my red-haired friends are very creative, talented people.
Most of my redhead
but
friends
we-
have
we-
no
we-
soul.
Jesus.
Well, I could say the same, but the thing is,
Sorry, Leo.
No. I get that all the time.
As far as the studio, we'd never really done a red-haired heroine before. It was always a brunette or a blonde. So the management wanted to just have her be a blonde, and we said, let's try red hair. It'll look sensational with blues and greens underwater, and provide a nice contrast. And we even gave her a green tail that was very contrasty. So
Now that might scare me a
and
little bit.
all her
Green-
sisters
green tail.
are if you put all her sisters together in the right sequence, they make a rainbow. So they're all different colors.
It's progressive.
Oh,
And
interesting.
there's
Interesting.
7 of them total, so they represent the 7 seas of the world.
Wow.
Or the 7 deadly sins.
Or the 7 deadly sins. Yeah. Whatever your choice is.
We're going to mute you, Charles.
So Philo, you got to meet Pat Carroll. What did you ever get to meet Pat Carroll?
Pat Carroll? Yes.
Yeah, but often the animators don't meet with the actual voice actors.
No,
So you actually met her, from what I
a
understand?
chosen few get to meet with them when they're recording. Usually the lead animators, by the time they get to that point, they go in with a camera and they will actually videotape the actors doing their part to get a sense of, maybe bits of business they can use in the actual scenes when they're done. They can pick up mannerisms and little ticks that people do without even thinking. And we also have the use of they go in with a camera models. And they will actually videotape. Will come in and play the parts for reference, and we don't actually trace verbatim off the footage. We just use it as reference to see how things behave and how they should move in real life.
That's Ralph Bakshi's job.
Yeah, there are totally rotoscoped films, and Bakshi's are one case in point. So they let the action that the actors performed dictate how it's going to be animated, and they cartoon it up a little bit, but we just use it and do fresh drawings. We don't trace it. So
that's really interesting.
I just accidentally ran into Pat Carroll. We had just moved to the main building, and she was waiting for them to come and get her to do retakes. The entire sequence, the spell casting had to be redone because they felt she was being too histrionic right off the bat. And any normal person would say, hey, you're screaming at me. To hell with you. Keep your legs. I'm out of here. Roll the credits. So
roll the credits. Yeah. No green tail for you.
Yeah.
You mean no pink feet for you?
Like a cabaret song, and more the beat of it, and the fact that it builds. It's more of a seduction to get Ariel to give up her voice to get some legs. So she was there to re-record, and I was out in the lobby to ask the receptionist, Dee Ramia, how we could allow visitors to visit with us while we were early in production, and the procedure, to let people in. My family wanted to come and see me. So I said, Di, you're Pat Carroll. And she looked up from her magazine and said, yes, I am. Who are you? I said, well, my name is Philo Barnhart, and I'm doing you. I mean that I'm working on you. I mean, I'm working on Ursula. And she laughed. And she said, you come over here and you tell me all about it. So I ran over and sat with her. And she says, now, what was your name again, dear? And I said, Philo. She says, that sounds Grecian, is it? And I said, yes, very good. Well, tell me, Philo, what is it you're doing exactly with Ursula? I said, well,
baby, a Chucky baby.
Oh, my gosh.
Chucky.
There's the sea witch now.
Amy's going out.
He's pretty good. He's like Chucky. He's just so cute. Okay.
This I do not believe.
He's
You knew he was going to do something to throw you off, right? I mean, the whole purpose of Charles being here is to throw you off your game. Leo, if we get any questions of Leo, feel free to jump in.
Yep, totally.
So she says, would it help you if I gave you my take on her? As you know, I'm here to re-record the part because it's not working as is, and Howard, who wrote the lyrics, Howard Ashman, actually wrote some new dialogue and things, and it starts out slowly and it builds to the song where she casts the spell, and all hell breaks loose then. So I thought that was going to work a lot better, and so did Pat Carroll. So she said, would it help you if I gave you my take on her? And I said, that would be really great. She says, well, don't laugh, but I see her as this great Shakespearean actress retired into the sea for some reason. I said, okay. So just like in the song, it's body language. It's she's selling everything with the body language. It doesn't have to be screaming and yelling. And she said exactly. So I went back to work, and the drawings were sailing out of my pencil.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Tell them about
You
when.
awake over there, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm awake.
Yeah. No. Tell them when what's her name was like walking down in dailies and what you guys did. The joke.
Oh yeah, she had an elbow thrust walk. The first time Rob Minkoff and I tried to animate her in what's called a walk cycle, and we used the lower half was of course some octopus footage that we found, and they walk a little like snakes, but with multiple snakes. I used to be able to speak English, but not any longer. They do like a little sidewinding kind of movement. So we had her madly coiling across the floor and with an elbow thrust, being very determined. And with this stern look on her face. And in dailies, somebody said, "Stop ringing that bell. I'm coming. I'm coming." It looked like she was going to go answer the door. She was very annoyed. There was no sound or anything. It was just the rough animation. So.
Oh, guys.
Yeah.
You should ask Philo about the seashell brassiere.
Oh.
We can't ask him anything. You keep cutting in.
And
Okay, I'll shut up.
so actually, I just wanted to cut in here for a second. We got a bunch of people watching in multiple locations. So if you do have questions, please post them in the comments here, and I'll try to get to them as best as we can. If you're not familiar with Philo, shame on you, but he's responsible for some awesome stuff. I mean, we're talking Little Mermaid, but also Secret of Nymph, Star Trek The Motion Picture. If you're a gamer, Dragon's Lair 2, and Space Ace, the Smurfs, Scooby-Doo, Super Friends. I know we got a lot of geeks that watch as well.
The man is a fucking legend, people.
Totally.
Second generation Disney legend.
That's why we put up the 18 plus at the beginning of this, just so you know.
You have my phone ringing near you, Philo.
Oh, that's the phone? I thought I was being muted.
Well, tell you what.
Ringing by you?
It's Jeff.
Yeah, that's
Must
Charles'
not
phone. It's up
No,
here
stop.
by me.
Yeah, it was
Now
not. Kim Lusso popped in my feed. She said, "Go see Philo at Comic-Con."
Which one? We're at all of them.
If you're on the East Coast, the only time I think that you're up in this area is at NECC in November, correct?
Yes.
Well, we're thinking of
Which is
doing
a
the one
shame.
in March this year.
You're doing the one in March as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
think
now I
so,
gotta rent
yeah.
a room.
What? Shut up.
Why? They'll
If-
have a room.
It's my show now. I took over.
If I'm not healing from some kind of surgery, yeah, I'll be there.
Right.
Oh,
He might be like
Yeah.
20 pounds when you see him next.
I've been falling apart.
I've been putting him together.
We
I
can
have-
rebuild him.
Yes.
For you, Philo.
He has now bionic man parts.
I believe
Yeah.
Jeff had a question for you, Philo.
When did you actually start with Disney?
Oh, that would have been in '83, with or if it counts, I was appeared in Mary Poppins with my father, flying a kite. I was up for the part of Christopher Robin in the first Winnie the Pooh animated short, and I lost the part to the director's son. But we
Well,
were
of
runners
course.
up out of 150 little boys, and I was very proud of that. But
Wow.
my consolation prize from Walt Disney himself was to play an extra kid with my real father flying a kite. So
I'm gonna have to
our
look for
little
that.
Edwardian costumes and everything, and that was fun.
Yeah, I read
So-
about
I got to get a little Mary Poppins movie and have it signed.
Sure.
Yes.
It
Do
was
you even
really
know
fun.
Poppins.
I'm only in one scene, but 2 scenes. But
Hey,
actually,
So that means
I
that's
began with him in '83.
you know that's a cameo appearance. That's where you got your start. Jeff and I have cameos, so hopefully someday we can be in a movie flying a kite
Yeah,
Right.
with me.
with you.
Wouldn't that be
See, when you
fun?
tell Philo go fly a kite, he ends up in a movie.
Yeah, right,
We'll
right.
have fun. We'll have fun. But 83, I was actually doing, guess what? A Winnie the Pooh short, the last one. Winnie the Pooh and a Day for Eeyore.
Okay.
And this was
Awesome.
the first time I got to work with my dad on a Disney film. He was doing layout, and
Yeah,
I
and
was doing character keying.
nice, nice. One thing that
So
we haven't touched
mostly
on.
Eeyore.
One thing we
Yeah.
haven't touched on, as Philo just mentioned, that he got to work with his dad at Disney. Both Philo's mom and dad both worked at Disney as well. Would you like to touch a little bit on what they did and what they might have been involved with?
Wait. Hold on, hold on.
Hey,
Philo,
mute.
Philo. Your mother and father worked at Disney, right?
Yes.
No.
And you worked at Disney, right?
Eventually.
So what does that make you, Philo?
Oh, I guess that makes me a Disney brat,
Ah!
like a military brat, only the Disney
brat.
variety.
So, but back to your mother and father. Would we like to touch a little bit
Yeah.
on that?
Sure.
Uh,
Well, it was the World War II era, and mom was 22, and she had come earlier to the Los Angeles area from Utah, where she was born and raised. She had won a beauty contest in 1939, and she went back in 42 and applied for work at Disney. She wanted to do some background painting, but in those days, if you were female, you got relegated to the ink and paint department, and it was just the era. It was just the era, that I don't think it was misogynistic or anything like that. It was just
It was
male chauvinist pigism. Boy, I'm having a lot of trouble with English language tonight.
We
But she
put you on the
started there
spot.
in
That's
42.
why.
Yeah. I need to toke. Then I'll speak perfect finishing school English. So, what on earth? Oh my God.
Yeah, have a cookie.
I'm being attacked by a snowman cookie. Thank you, Charles.
Yes, Charles just
Father was
vanishes.
he was stationed in Chile at the same exact time, and he was
Fuck.
I've had worse things in my face. Well,
Oh, you're killing me.
he was a keen sharpshooter. He was teaching the guys how to use coast artillery and also anti-aircraft guns along the coast of Chile. And he was learning a lot of great Spanish at the same time. So what he didn't realize was that he suffered from sleepwalking. So he almost went over a cliff, and an MP grabbed him around the waist just before he went over the cliffs. And they gave him an honorable discharge, which made him furious because in those days the chips were down and everyone wanted to serve. So, World War II was pretty heavy duty,
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
The outcome is what we enjoy today, or don't enjoy. Take your pick. But it made the world it is today.
Yeah.
Long story short, he got shipped back to Cedar Rapids, Iowa, which is his hometown. And from there in 44, his friend John Freeman called him from the studio and said, "You really need to drop the farm boy thing and get your act together, put your samples together, and come out and meet Walt Disney." And so he took a train, and that's exactly what he did. And he got hired right away.
Wow.
My mother that same year, probably in April, and then by November they were married.
Impressive.
Unbelievably fast.
Oh,
but
Very impressive.
in those days, if you found somebody to bond with, you did it because you didn't know what tomorrow was going to bring during World War II.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
And I can see why they call them the greatest generation, because in a way they were.
They're great.
They had a hell
None
of a
of this
job to
language
do.
stuff like
Wow.
They were all doing war effort type stuff then.
Yeah.
My mother was actually doing not too much production work on animation, though they did Victory Through Air Power and Der Fuhrer's Face and a lot of those propaganda films that they made, plus a lot of those Latin American styled package films like Three Caballeros and Saludos Amigos, etc.
Wow.
So
I think they're.
so
I think
in addition, they were also helping
Philo,
the Army and the Navy.
1 second, Philo. Leo?
Oh, actually, I think they just announced a sequel to the three how do you say Calaberos? I can't.
Caballeros.
Yes.
Caballeros.
Yeah, they're in talks for the sequel, and we also have a couple questions, but we'll let me get you back to Philo.
How many questions you got now?
We have a couple in the queue right now.
You know what? Ask them and follow answer quick.
My mother actually left the studio in 1947, around the time she was finished with Song of the South, to start raising our family. She had my oldest brother in 47.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I've met you in person, and Jeff has met you in person, and she did a very, very good job. I can tell you that. You are a true gentleman.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah,
True
I
gentleman.
think both my
Why does
parents
he hang
rubbed
out
off
with
on
me?
me.
One of the kindest people that I've met.
Correct.
Leo, you want to throw up one of the questions?
Real quick. First question. Is Angela says she has a copy of Star Trek: The Motion Picture on Laserdisc, but that's for the first question. Is Stephen Christina Jr. from Super Retro Throwback Review says, my question for Philo, looking back at 40 years of Star Trek: The Motion Picture, if you had access to the technology today, back then, what would you use for the movie, or what would you change?
Well, that would have made our job a lot easier, because we
Or
didn't
obsolete.
have any computer graphics to use, nothing. So God bless you if you thought those TV monitors and things on board the Enterprise and on the Klingon ship were real computers, because in actuality they were little films that we made, and they were projected into the set from the back.
Oh wow!
In the little screens, and if at a certain time they were still shooting and we were not ready yet, we didn't have anything to actually shoot on the set for them, then they would simply put a blue panel up there, and we would have to put it in post. That would give us time to animate it. It was right down to the wire. So a lot of it would have been a breeze. We wouldn't have had to spend as much time, because we would have had CG to create all the lightning bolts, electrical discharges, and cloud layers, and all that stuff would have been much easier to create.
How was V'ger made?
Well, the first V'ger cloud was actually a wire hanger, like any common wire hanger you might have.
Coat hanger.
Well, a wire hanger. Coat hanger is a wood, got wood in it. But
very good.
The
100%
ones I used to.
correct. If you go to where they clean your shit, with dry cleaners, and you ask for a hanger, they give you either a plastic or wooden swivel style hanger.
Right.
So
it's more substantial than just wire. Yeah.
Yep.
Or an all metal one.
So
Charles,
we gave the wire hanger, after bending it into weird shapes. We had Virgil Morano, the staff photographer, come in and do stroboscopic photography of this thing spinning, and it created a neat little tufted little cloud, thing.
a little cloud.
Big swirl. So we took those swirls and put them together, and made what's called a Kodalith cell. It was a Kodak product, which is a negative positive thing. So the black hanger became a clear area that we could backlight, and the white background became jet black. And anything we didn't want showing through, of course, we had to paint out. So you have to backlight everything to check your work and see if there's anything you don't want shining through. That went for the matte work on all the models and things too.
Wow.
Because they make their own elements for matte work. The process we were using, it was 65 millimeter, which got blown up to 70. So the paper was quite wide that we had to animate on. It was 22 inches. So in order to stiffen it up so I could flip it and check the action on the bolts and things.
It was 22 inches. We had to stiffen it up, folks.
We had to put celluloids in between because it was too floppy and hard to manage. So, yeah,
That's what happened.
Everything was a challenge, but necessity is that mother of invention. So we used everything but the kitchen sink to get things to happen. And a lot of times it was really simple solutions, but it looks great on the screen.
Yeah, it does.
That's amazing.
So, we're talking, this is the 40th anniversary for Star Trek The Motion Picture, which you played a part in. This is the 30th anniversary for The Little Mermaid, which you played a big part in. Not to mention numerous other amazing things that a lot of us had as childhood and whatnot. Do you have a favorite?
I do. I have 3 favorites.
No. A favorite. You can't have 3. That's not a favorite.
3 is fine.
Oh, darn.
Hey, it's like
listen up. He's doing for Silver Phoenix now.
Yeah. I've had a ball working with Charles on projects. So.
Well, we can tell. We get to hang out with you behind the scenes and stuff. So we see that. But
that's Party Central.
Yeah, in all the years that you've been involved in film animation, illustration, drawing, and things like that, do you have a favorite project? Like this one was just like, boom, more so than any other one.
Yeah, that would probably be ultimately Secret of Nim, because that was the film that gave me my chance to get into the movies.
Yes.
Number one. Even though Star Trek was first, it wasn't a full-blown animated film. It had live action, and you have no control over that, of course. But I learned so much, because up till then I had just done television production, and that's a more limited form of animation. So these are like living, breathing things when you're done with them. They just move from one thing to the next, and there's no repetition. So we're being paid
$1.
Yeah. There's the mystic eyeball there at the top of the pyramid.
So Secret of Nim, awesome. That's one of my favorites.
But our goal was to bring back all the techniques and materials that had been lost over the years since Walt passed away in 1966. And they had started to go economical, starting with using Xerox to get images onto the celluloid. And they were still painted from the back, but this eliminated the need for any hand inking, which got very, very costly. Mm-hmm. And it also, the animation itself lost something in the translation, because you're having somebody go over it and trace it. And always there's a little something to be lost from the original animation. So you were actually seeing the spontaneity of the animator's actual drawings for the first time.
Wow.
And Jungle Book was just the second one. The first one was Dalmatians. Wow. So, but it was very exciting to see that shimmery, anti-static kind of quality.
I believe Jeff has another question.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Fire away.
How long were you with Disney? When did you leave Disney and why?
Well, that would have been in. I actually left animation in '91 to go into consumer products for the company, and I did
Okay.
a lot of work in that department. Mostly books to start, and then I moved into toys and apparel, home electronics, and collectibles. That's where I stayed for probably another 11 years,
Okay.
with a total of 18 years
Okay.
off and on.
So it's just trying to change it up a little bit for yourself.
Yeah. Well, with the advent of computer animation, a lot of the traditional artists got cut, including at consumer products. So
Mm-hmm.
there was a wave of layoffs, and I was in the first one.
Oh, that's too bad.
That was in 2003. The animators were already removed by 2002. So
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Crazy. I just wanted to break in here for a second. We have another question. Also, Angela says, my grandfather served in World War II. But speaking of consumers, I just want to run our commercial real quick for Deadly Grounds Coffee. This is our sponsor. And here we go. Here's Father Evil telling you about coffee.
Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary. Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day.
And I love people that push buttons.
And you've also got the heavenly host. It's the season.
We are back, and I want to remind everybody, if you're interested in learning more about Charles or Philo, check the show notes down below or up above, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. I put a bunch of links there where you can check out their stuff, including silverphoenix.net, their website. And another question came in from Patrick from Throw It On Thursday. He wants to know, what's the most challenging project that you've worked on?
Oh, that would have been again Secret of Nim, because of all the things we were trying to relearn and recreate. And we did succeed, but we were spending the night in the studio too. It was very labor intensive. I couldn't believe how many drawings we had to do to get the end result we needed, but that's what it takes. It's a crazy way to make a movie, one frame at a time, but that's what you're doing in essence. And these characters were loaded. They had Mr. Ages alone had about 27 colors on him, so you have to make sure that everything's sealed off and where it should be on his body, and that the fur groupings are where they need to be, and pretty much all the characters had what's called pencil mileage, and which added labor to the whole thing. Wow. So it was a real challenge.
That's probably why it's one of your favorites.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Nothing good comes easy, right?
No, that's what they say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I had a question. Being a geek myself and seeing that you worked on both Dragon's Lair and Space Ace, talking about something that really defined an era and really changed the technology. I mean, back then, this is Dragon's Lair was early 80s, and going from Atari.
That's right.
And to see something like that on the screen, I remember I was so amazed at the graphics and the artwork on it. How does it feel to be have your hand in something that really changed gaming?
Well, that was really exciting, because that was at the time it was a new technology that was going to power the entire thing. That was the laser discs, They were back then. They were
laser,
brand new.
the laser dicks.
Oh, discs.
You missed the S in that one, Philo.
Wow.
It's a pain in the ass.
Sorry, Dad.
But I remember those things got so hot because they had to be weighed down on one side with metal to keep them from flying off the spindles. But it was very exciting because it was one of the first of its kind. It was the idea was to have people have like, you remember the choose your own adventure books?
Yep.
You could choose which scenario you were going to have as your ending or even your middle part. You could choose to go a certain way at any time in the book. Well, the game was the same way because your choices. It was like playing a movie. So that was the whole idea, and a lot of people ended up later making games that were like movies with real footage of real people instead of animation. But this was the start. So we knew we were pioneering, a whole new way of playing video games.
Totally. Yeah,
Very exciting.
I plunked too many quarters into that game. Absolutely loved it.
People ask me if I can play it, and I say, well, no, actually, I die a lot.
Yeah.
But
Hey, Charles.
I was skilled enough to make the thing. I couldn't play it.
Yeah. Well,
Charles has a laser disc.
Yeah, there it is.
Did
And
you
of
just
course,
get that out of the vault?
That gave way to DVDs and CDs. So
Wow.
that pretty much put laser discs away.
Well, a DVD is nothing more than a little laser disc.
That's right.
They just make them smaller and more compact.
Yeah. And they can actually get more information on them than the laser could.
Yeah.
Well, it's technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember some of the laser
went up.
What was that, Leo?
Oh no, I was just saying I remember that some of the laser discs you had to flip. You watch half the movie, then you have to flip it. Yeah.
Right. It's
Really?
just like a long playing record. They started making a machine towards the end of their life that flipped it for you.
Yep.
It would go from A to B.
Wouldn't that be nice?
There was a player in the
bedroom.
there was a player in the top of the machine as well.
Something that would self-flip us.
Yes.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't go off.
Yeah.
Actually,
I hold this down so it doesn't fly off the spindle.
It's flipping us off.
I actually I have one of those players down in my garage. I before it was hard to find. I found a Laserdisc player with the Star Wars, the un-Lucas edited one, and
That's what I have.
there you
Yes,
go.
I used to have that as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Now Charles has it.
I got
Well, I believe Charles does have that set.
He's showing us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I mean, you've done a multitude of things. Like I said earlier, this man is a legend, folks. He's a legend. So
second generation.
get off your ass, get to a con, meet this gentleman, and his counterpart Charles. He probably will be there. Just look for the giant.
Which
Well,
one?
With the handlebar. The handlebar mustache.
speaking of cons, what's your schedule looking like? So if somebody wants to meet you guys, where are you going to be? What do you have scheduled so far for 2020?
Well, Charles, we've got
There's the
got
crickets.
we've got the flea market thing, right? In
That's how
Zillow.
low we have fallen. No, and also,
Well, we often do the flea markets out here.
yeah. No, there's a good friend of ours. He's also a former Mason and a Shriner, Zerko, Tim Zerko, or the Zerko family. And we're doing the superhero sports all night type flea market type stuff in St. Charles on the 3rd and the 4th. St. Who?
Saint you.
Saint Philo.
Me. St. Charles, Illinois. That's going to be on the July 4th and 5th. Then Philo will be going to Japan on the 7th. I'm banned from international travel. Thank you. Oh, brilliant, Obama. Thank you, incredibly great President Clinton.
Where are you going?
No, I am banned from international travel.
Not you, him. Where is he going?
Japan.
Japan.
You know, I'm just gonna throw this out there. I'm not banned from international travel.
Mm-hmm. Want to go to Japan?
If you're paying, baby, I'm going.
Philo will hold your hand. Or something else.
He'll hold more than my hand.
Philo's like, where's your 11th finger?
Yes,
But,
folks, I
in
can
all
make Philo
seriousness-
blush.
Yeah, in all seriousness, after Japan, then in February, it looks like we may have a show in Indiana on the 9th. Then a show, a mermaid convention in VA or something.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, MerMagicCon. Those ladies are amazing. The MerMagicCon.
We
These are
need
women
to go
who
to
actually
VHS.
gone on flukes, tails, mermaid tails, and they swim in the water like mermaid women. It's beautiful. It's amazing. They're elegant. They float, and they got some mermen too.
Now, this is where in Virginia?
Yeah.
Philo, I mean, you could probably get us in as like media or special guests, huh?
Sure, why not?
There's all these clutch of eggs.
Manassas, Virginia. It's very close to Washington, D.C. In fact, we went there to visit a friend of Charles for lunch.
It's about
He works for the government. He's very clandestine.
from here?
Mm-hmm.
Jeff?
What?
What's that, about 7 or 8 hours from us?
DC?
DC?
Yeah.
The way you drive 5?
Jesus.
So, I don't know, man, Leo, huh? Maybe the Still Token goes on the road for a little mermaid convention.
Yeah.
Wow.
Why not?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. And where else have you booked for 2020? My bad.
I've also been careful, if I may say, with permission, Philo, what you're going to be going through.
Mm-hmm.
Philo's going to be going through another round of surgeries, and these are a lot more invasive than the others. So after the Mermaid Con, we may take a small break. Then in March, we're thinking of doing a Northeastern Comic Con.
That's here in Massachusetts, folks.
Yeah, and then May, it looks like Biloxi, Mississippi, and a few others. And then right there, that's pretty much the schedule. It often fills up rather quick after the year starts. People start reaching out to us, and the con goers like, "Finally, we gotta have you at our con."
I can
We're
imagine.
also
Right.
Have you?
We're also doing something in January just for fun that I'm going to enjoy, and Charles as well. We're excited to go see our friends' Star Trek sets in Georgia.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah, we've
road
had
trip.
the good luck of going to Ticonderoga. Boy, it took me like 2 years to pronounce that right.
I can't even pronounce it. Don't worry.
And a guy called James, he looks like this like Elvis rockabilly dude. He's really a cool dude.
Well,
And
he is an Elvis impersonator. That's part of his work.
But he did a Star Trek type tribute, fan film, which was really neat. Excellent set. But you really want to go out of control. I mean, just lose your mind. Take a look at Vic Mignogna's. Is that the right way to pronounce it?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Vic Mignogna's Star Trek Continues. And you watch those, you will be awe-inspired. It feels like another season of Star Trek.
Yeah.
I mean, the others are really good. James is really good, and they're both really up there. But there's just like this extra flavor that Vic has. That's just the way he portrays Kirk is it's spot on.
All the fan films.
William Shatner
so amazing.
Portraying Kirk. It's what we believe Kirk should be, and it's not a parody. It's really well done.
Have you?
I love to see Charles getting fired up, man. I don't think I've ever seen him get so fired up. He's like, woo!
He's having fun, man.
And anyone can see them. Anyone can see them right now. Just go online and type in.
Continues. Boom, you'll watch them.
Go to YouTube and type in Star Trek Continues, and they have a channel, and you can watch all the episodes.
He didn't make one penny off of this. He did it just out of his
No,
love of Star Trek.
none of them did.
Yeah,
and that's That's the big shame about how CBS stopped everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Making
but
any
I
more
can understand
fan
too.
films.
Yeah, I respect that.
The
Right.
new Discovery show is really good. If you had a chance to check it out.
I guess that's a no.
Wow, you're such a Trump supporter. I love you.
Me?
Yeah, I could see those Trump signs.
Not at
in your
all.
Backyard.
Not
Why are
at
they on
all.
fire?
Well, we don't go political here.
Not at all.
No,
No. I mean,
let's not go there.
their rendition of Pike in the second season and the original Enterprise and Spock. It's I think it was done pretty well. We have a question from Angela. Wants to know. Speaking of cons,
She's hot.
will you be going to Plastic City Comic Con?
If we're invited, yes, but no one has invited us. So if the promoter reaches out to me and it's worth Philo's time, then we'll do it.
Sounds good.
We'd love to do it.
Yeah, there's a lot of great cons in the.
And plus, Angela's amazing. She's cool, awesome, beautiful, and the best part about her is she's more intelligent than all 5 of us put together.
Well, all right then. Can we mute his mic again?
A lot of great cons in Connecticut, Terrificon, and Super Mega's up in Massachusetts. But yeah, Terrificon is an awesome one. You should definitely check out as well.
Speaking of cons,
I call Connecticut a cheese.
Speaking of Connecticut cons, Wicked Weekend.
Yes.
You know, really, we're going to be there. We're really looking forward to that. That's more of a horror
The promoter
convention.
talk to me. Then we can
I don't know. I mean, Philo might have to draw like Dead Little Mermaid or something like that to get
That's
in.
what I do.
I know.
I've done
I'm
that
the
before
monster
too.
Guy.
I know.
I'm the creep.
Angela wants to
I've been
thank you.
called the creep who's not creepy.
I don't know. You're pretty fucking creepy, brother.
Yeah, right, Philo?
Yeah.
Sorry, Leo. Angela wants to know.
No,
They're
she
all Richards.
she says, "Why, thank you, Charles." So
He said he'll buy you dinner at NECC.
Wow.
That's right.
Yes, as long as it's under $1. We'll time travel, like to the witch trials. Everybody both be burned.
You got any more questions on your?
well, there's a comment over on the Token Dead's page.
No, we're in
Shadow Demino says, "The Walking Dead never uses the term zombies. How could they be mad?"
Tonight's show is about Philo and Charles.
Exactly.
Yes.
Not about the trademark opposition of the Toking Dead.
No.
And if you follow us in any general aspect, you will understand that
They're jealous because you're smart.
we're not playing their game, but
No.
we're playing the game. So
You're smart.
we'll save that for another show.
Totally.
But thank you. I have a few comments in my feed.
Wait, you got a feed?
Ryan Kimball says you guys are all amazing. Love from the Diamond Crew. So Bill Diamond's crew watching tonight.
Yes!
We love you guys too.
Yeah, build it.
Dave Sorgman said zombie mermaids in the Toking Dead.
Oh, there you go.
It sounds like it could be a compilation coming down the road somewhere. You know, hey, who the hell knows? I don't know. Jeff don't know. He definitely doesn't know. He hasn't said a word all night. I think he just made a cardboard cutout like he threatened to do and set it there.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is a cardboard cutout. Hold on, let me put my finger in it.
All the time, he gets pictures of all these people without me. So I want to give him a cardboard face of mine so I can at least be in the damn pictures.
Well, no, see,
Table.
the problem, it's not a problem, but the way that Jeff and I work and the way we interact is a lot like you know, Philo and Charles. One man is manning the table. One man.
Well, in your case, it's womaning the table.
Hey, whatever, man. You know, just because I climbed from under the table doesn't mean jack assery. So, one of us is out networking. One of us is manning the table. I just so happen to be the one out networking that reaches in my pocket and says, "Okay, I'm gonna."
What do I feel here?
I'm gonna barter with this famous person and get my picture.
You want the pictures. You want to get the.
Yeah, so
You're better at it.
I have a natural knack that was taught to me by my grandfather and my
God bless him.
parents. They were antiquers, they were estate sailors. So bartering it's natural for me. So I don't have a problem walking up to that famous person charging $100 for a photo and be like, listen, I'll give you a signed copy of our premiere comic book, and you give me the picture with you for half price or a quarter.
And then they will often do this with something sticking up.
No, actually, as a matter of fact, 9 times out of 10, I get that picture for half price or free.
That's to make them go away.
That's right. Hey, whatever it takes, brother.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes, man.
That
So,
helps the business.
So Philo, what do you got coming up next, work wise, not show wise?
Oh
What do
well,
you-
it's ongoing. I work with Charles pretty much exclusively, and
That's why we haven't gotten a price. I see how it is.
Work on
well,
Charles.
I'm doing with Charles. I'm doing the comic book Whispers from the Void,
Right. Okay.
and
Yep.
Very nice. Very nice.
it features the female point of view in supernatural horror. Not only that, but all monsters in this universe are reflections of the 7 deadly sins. So, Charles, you can explain that a little bit more.
So basically, a mad scientist, a reflection of pride, has organized a vampire, gluttony, a ghost, which is envy, and a here, I'll change the lighting, and a flesh construct, which is wrath. And together, the ladies work to do good, even though their natures are aberrant. This first cover is done by Vincent Prose, who, if you saw Pacific Rim, he's worked on Pacific Rim 2. His work has also been concept drawings and art for It and Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Volume 1 and 2, right?
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Or I think
Now I'm
volume
almost
2.
impressed by you, Charles.
I know. And it's like one of those things where these people are
remember
like shocked and they discover all the weird networking and people that I know. It's bizarre. Like I have friends who are billionaires, mobster acquaintances,
And then-
yeah.
Like
cops, judges. I was at the first Republican gay
Counterfeiters.
marriage in Washington, D.C. And they were
Counterfeiters.
going to not let me in because I wore rainbow sneakers. And I said to them,
Counterfeiters.
yes. Would you want to know why? Do you want to be the first one in history to kick out a man with rainbow shoes who's supposed to be at a gay wedding? And the guy just did this. He just looked away. It was hysterical.
what do you say to that?
Well, because they had a dress code and the shoes were not part of the dress code. So the guy, by looking away, meant he didn't see it. It was his way of giving me permission, but at the same time, the proper East Coast disdain. Because if you're living in the East Coast and I move in, 20 years down the line, I'm still the new neighbor. That's the way the East Coast mentality is. And even if I have children born there, they're still the children of the guy who moved in. Maybe after the third or fourth generation, they might accept it. But only if they marry somebody from the Mayflower. Right? I'm true.
Hey, what can I say? I don't know what to tell you.
Suck.
Well, it's funny because I'm still the new guy that moved in.
Right.
12 years later.
20.
Yep.
20 years later.
Yep. So what more questions do you have, Mr. Reddo?
Angela says, which It, Charles?
It too.
It
If
too.
you look for Vincent Proce, Proce, you can see his concept drawings that were done for the film.
Nice.
Remember the head with the spider legs?
Yeah, the baby.
That's his.
Yeah.
All the terrifying Pennywise turning into a creature. That's his stuff.
Also, all the
including
cookies.
the defeated one.
Yeah.
Remember the fortune cookies that came to life and they had little baby heads and different things, claws.
Mhm.
I got a couple of things popping up on my screen over here.
What do you
Are
got
they
there, Ben?
boobies?
My wife is not around tonight. She had to babysit, but she wanted to say hello to everybody. Philo.
She's not going to show her boobies. I don't want to see them. She's your wife.
No. I told her that you wanted to see my boobies, and I would keep them in my shirt.
But they're too small. You're like a negative A. You're like concave.
Speaking of boobies, Sean Carnell says, "I want to twist your nipples, you awesome human."
He loves you.
I think he's talking to Philo.
Oh, yeah. Philo's like, "Oh, please."
Oh my.
Wait.
Just nibble.
You've made my millennium.
Oh shit. So, just wanted to give those shout outs. Kevin Joliker's in the chat. Love him. Kelly Roy, Dave Sorgman. God, the list is just going on.
That's
Renee
because they
Cole,
don't have lives. That's
Love
why they're
them all.
watching you.
And that's just in this chat that I can see. Leo's got the 17.
Wait, I can look at chat, dude. Do I have a chat?
Sure, you just got to go to the live broadcast. You could have went to the live broadcast and started a watch party, and all your friends could have seen it, and you didn't do it. So you are fired.
I have no idea.
You blew it out, Charles.
I have no idea.
You actually, even the rebroadcast of this, Philo and Charles, if you go into the video on the Facebook page, you can get it on my page, the Dorkening, the Toking Dead, YouTube channels, Twitch, whatever. But if you go into the live feed on the Facebook page and just hit share, you can actually share that to your page even after we've recorded it as a live watch party. Wow. So you can actually go on and rewatch it with friends on your page. It's kind of cool technology. I mean, it allows for people like Jeff and myself and Leo, Mr. Eye Candy in the corner, folks. Gotta have him. Look at that. Look at that sexy beast over there in the corner.
Oh,
he is married.
Yes, I am.
He's got red hair too.
Yeah,
so he's got one in my
sexy beast. You know, none of this.
You know why he has?
No, look, he's the only one that has natural colored hair. Look at the rest of us are all gray and black and white.
We're old.
Yeah, I've gone gray.
Oh, I'm old too, but I just haven't.
I am not old.
I'm
an
old fart now.
Wine. I get better with time.
Yeah, you know why Mr. Redhead has earmuffs?
So he doesn't have to listen to us.
No, so that Philo can't lick his eardrums.
Yeah, I'll warn you now, Leo. We'll bring you to a con where Philo is. We'll do a live. He'll lick your eardrums.
Oh my. Okay.
He will.
Thanks for the warning.
You'll see the tip coming out the other side.
He'll cover his tongue in hydrogen peroxide so he can.
Well, this was a fetish I wasn't aware of.
He's called.
It must be like sleepwalking because I don't remember it.
Just real quick, I apologize. I totally forgot YouTube. I was keeping an eye on multiple Facebook pages. Dad's Piranha says, "What's up, men?" Also to Toking Dead, and Joe Apocalypse says, "Ariel on weed sounds like an amazing idea."
Oh my God!
I think we would definitely be.
We're not talking seaweed.
We'd be.
Oh!
We have enough legal trouble.
Yeah.
We don't need any more.
Yep. Hey, I got some seaweed for you. You want some? Here, let me roll it up for you. Here,
hey, let's do some sushi.
Like, light it for you. So she lights it with her lava switch, a lava rock, holding some tongs, and you see the sea lily bubbling and frothing and stuff, and she's smoking her seaweed, and then Ariel starts like slicing off.
Let's cook up some sushi.
Space for pizza.
Wow, we just went right from
you went down fast.
Disney Channel to the.
I'm the horror guy. What do you expect?
You just went.
Mayday.
I'm from Chicago.
Mayday.
Shut up. Yeah. This is my show. Pick it over.
So why don't you come to Connecticut then?
Because Connecticut has cheese. That's why.
I'm in Connecticut, by the way.
He's not allowed to go to Connecticut. It's like not allowed to leave the country.
You can't go.
Right. I like sneak out of the state all the time. I'm still driving illegally. I love it.
William Pace says Ben gets bonus points for the Bruins logo in the background.
Oh, you're our enemy.
Oh,
you're on the dumb list.
Hey.
You're a horrible person.
You mentioned I know we were talking a lot about Disney, but with Disney Plus launching, and sort of like the resurgence of Disney animation. Do you get any sort of like checks from Disney still, or was that just like a paid job back then? And
Yeah, you got money or what?
No, that's Bruno.
No, that was just hourly rate through our union. We negotiate a contract through our union, and individually. It depends on what your position is, and they only started profit sharing at Disney Studio in the latter part of the 90s. So there were a few people that were profit sharing, and I was able to get a 401k going when I got to consumer products, but no, there's no residuals or anything like that for the most part.
well, that's sad.
Yeah.
Very sad.
If you get into making commercials for the company, then you get residuals for every time the commercial is shown. For example, you get some money.
Actually, if you have Disney Plus, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but they had a special. I guess I don't know if he's the last one, but they did a focus on, I think it's the last actual animator left at Disney. And he's like responsible for still drawing Mickey Mouse and some of the main characters. Yeah.
There's a few people still left. I think Mark Hanna's still there. That might be who you mean.
Okay.
Don't bother with Disney Plus. Don't bother with Hulu. Just go to pirate sites. They're all in one place. You go to a pirate site, you can watch whatever you want. You go to Plus, here's $1,000. Hulu, here's $1,000. Netflix, here's $1,000. CW, here's $1,000. WB, here's $1,000. When it's like internet connection, pirate site, yeah, I'm watching my stuff and I'm getting fat. That's what we all do.
You see how he was jiggling there.
Yeah.
So we.
Oh yeah.
I'm joking. Pirate sites are bad. Pay the money so the artists get paid.
Yep.
Actually, the companies get paid.
Totally.
Because they give
That's true. You don't hear much about torrents anymore.
No.
right.
Torrent
You only
files.
get it's like Hulu pays what 1.3 cents an hour for their stuff, so you got to watch a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Joe Apocalypse is asking, how difficult was it to get a job at Disney?
His mother and father worked for Disney. What do you think, Apocalypse?
No, in my case, it wasn't nepotism. I just spent time learning what I needed to know at other studios. First, I knew early enough. When I was about 16, I went over to ask a friend of my father's who was working in professional staffing, just what it took to eventually get a job there. And he looked through my work, and he was very complimentary. Only 16, certainly not able to hire me yet. But he said I would get some life drawing in, and possibly some anatomy classes too. It helps if you know what's underneath the flesh, how your bones work, and the tendons and muscles and everything. So you can draw the outside of a person, and how things expand and contract, and study the way people move and behave.
I think Philo.
Also the way inanimate objects move, including drapery on the human form, because there are things called secondary motions that happen to your clothing and your hair. They're equal and opposite reaction to reaction kind of things. So that's what gives full animation its realism, is putting those kinds of things in there. So that's what you have to know going in, and most studios will develop you as you work. They'll put you under contract, and they will have classes in life drawing We certainly did on Mermaid, and in fact, we had a class on pantomime too, because a good deal of the film, our main character had no voice, so she had to express herself just through movement and facial expressions and so on. So people had to get a crash course in acting. It also helps to know something about giving a performance yourself, so you can put
Wait.
that into your character.
Did you just say she had to express herself? Is she like feeding a child naturally or something?
Madonna, express yourself.
Yeah. Okay. See, I had a question. Now it's gone.
No,
Um,
your train got derailed.
it did. It did. I don't know where it went.
Mm.
Hold on. I don't know where the fuck it went.
Oh, you're dumb.
No, it's because I got high.
Is that what?
Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah.
Sounds awesome. You guys are awesome.
Oh, should we tell you about how horrible, the horrible
No.
experience at Motel 6 in Erie, Pennsylvania? Should we talk about that at all?
Go for it.
All right. We're driving late at night to the point to where I am a danger to myself, to my passenger, and possibly to other drivers. I'm exhausted. I pull into the lot of Motel 6 in Erie, Pennsylvania. I book online and pay with PayPal. We go in, and we're used to paying cash because with having to stay extra, but not all of our cards are depleted, so we don't have really anything on the cards. Plus, Philo has had problems with stalkers and things like that, so often we try not to give out our credit cards, to different places. So we'll see when we can pay cash, and we've never had a problem paying cash, especially at Motel 6. The night teller there, who I shall not name for legal reasons, refused his service. And I'm like, well, hold on, this is who we are. Refused his service. I then called customer service. The customer service says, oh yeah, you can accept cash. And he goes, I'm going to call my manager or call somebody. Refuses service. Then he throws us out. Here we paid for the hotel. And then later, we have to sleep in our car, and it's 27 degrees. We're sleeping in our car. It's unsafe for me to drive. Philo needs to keep his foot up because of his surgery. I also heard some possible anti-homosexual remarks from the person, disparaging remarks, and we're also
That's not tolerated.
right.
That's not tolerated.
No, and it doesn't matter if we were gay or straight or whatever. You just whatnot. And then later, the the manager guy, the general manager calls me and says, well, we have to have credit cards to prevent trafficking, sex trafficking. So basically, with their policy, I was assumed to be a sex trafficker, and so was Philo Barnhart. We're sex traffickers, aren't we, Philo?
Oh my God.
No,
I have
we're
the time
not.
to do that.
Basically,
Okay.
we were treated pejoratively. We were treated negatively. In fact, my report was so hazing with how negative it was, Hotels.com will not allow my post to go up, so I have to rewrite it so that's massaged nicely. But that hotel should be punished, or if there's somebody who's with ACLU or whatnot, I'm wondering if we should take legal action against that particular hotel. Now, it's not the hotel chain itself. We like Motel 6. I enjoy Motel 6. It's
We've
fun.
never had a problem before.
Right. In fact, when I was awake enough after that short nap, I drove to a Motel 6 in Cleveland, Ohio, and guess what? They accepted cash.
Unreal.
What a horrible place, Erie, Pennsylvania. The wicked, cruel, unbenevolent
Well,
Motel 6.
they're all under separate,
Yeah.
ownership.
Yeah.
So basically,
And the one we found later was a family-owned one.
right. So that Erie, Pennsylvania Motel 6 caused possible risk to my life, because had I made the decision to drive instead of not driving, I'm a risk to myself because of exhaustion. That's, distracted driving, I guess, or whatever. I'm a risk to Philo, and I was a risk to other drivers. Fortunately, I was able to sleep just enough in a nap that I was recharged just enough to make it to the next place. But because of the exhaustion, it's no different than being impaired. Thank you, Erie.
Plus, we both have CPAP machines. We're both.
Yeah, we have sleep apnea machines. So we could literally die if our oxygenation goes too low if we don't have this medical assistance with breathing at night.
Yep.
Horrible treatment. Horrible treatment. Just disgusting.
Don't go to Motel 6 in Erie, Pennsylvania, people.
No.
Well, we better not.
No.
Other motels, spend the extra money. It's worth it. And then I posted this on Facebook, and then some people started hazing me. Grow up, get a credit card, blah blah blah. It's like, you know what?
It's not the point. It's not the point of whether or not you had a credit card. It was the point of they took your sexual orientation and your looks possibly into consideration, which is just not tolerated.
No.
It's not tolerated.
It was pejorative, and I'm very,
it's unfortunate that it happened. I'm not going to apologize for them, but I personally, I wouldn't stay at that particular place in that particular town.
Right. Now, on a positive,
I'm just glad it's in the past.
Yeah.
On a positive, the convention we just did, SonoCon, which was very well run. It was amazing. Jimbo or JB.
Joseph R. Austin.
Yeah. Did a phenomenal job running the convention. And guess where he had us stay?
Motel 6.
Motel 6. And they accepted cash. It
was a very upscale Motel 6.
And on the way home, where did we stay? At a
the Hilton.
And they accepted cash. Tennessee, they accept cash. They accept cash. New York, they accept cash. In Pennsylvania, Austin, Texas, they accept cash in New York. They accept cash in Boston. They accept cash in Ohio. They accept cash
in
Nashville.
Charles, do they accept cash everywhere but Erie?
That's what I'm starting to think.
Okay,
because
we're getting close to the show close here. We're about 26 minutes past show close.
That's okay.
That's their problem.
No, it's fine. Any more questions? Any more questions pop over there for you, Leo?
Yeah, let me just double check.
Jeff.
Amy from Plastic City Comic Con is in the chat room, and we asked her to reach out to you guys. And Amy, if you if you can't find the information in the show notes, just hit me up, and I'll be glad to get that information to you, so you can.
Wait, she's with the convention?
Yeah, Plastic City Comic Con.
Oh my God, she's awesome. She's a goddess, and she's beautiful. And the best part is she's smart.
Totally agree.
Somebody give Charles a rag to wipe the brown stuff off his nose.
Joe Apocalypse wants to know, does Charles enjoy eating screens?
Yes.
And Christy Homan says he's high, Joey. He'll eat anything right now.
I don't smoke anything or drink anything. This is me normal.
That's fucking scary.
That is scary.
That is fucking scary. Sorry, Philo.
Now you know what I put up with, right?
I do.
Poor Philo.
Oh, I know what I had for a question before I forget.
Yeah, poor me.
This being the 30th year anniversary for Little Mermaid and the 40th anniversary for the Star Trek, do you intend on releasing any prints? Commemorative prints?
No. I mean, because it's really not our show. Disney will be doing that. I mean, we might do an original drawing for somebody.
Which they've already done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm just. Hey, I
Yeah,
mean,
but we don't have a license to.
I don't believe Paramount did anything other than re-release Star Trek.
theatrically.
For the anniversary. I don't think they had any special products or anything.
oh, I was just
Which is
curious
a
if
shame.
you were doing any type of commemorative print. I mean, it's kind of a big deal to have that type of
Yeah.
award under your belt.
Yeah, well,
And I don't mean Charles.
I already have prints inspired by both of them, so.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
So that was one of my questions that I had. It came back. See?
Yeah.
See, you're smart. You're a good
No.
boy. We like you.
No, I had to stop looking at the squirrels.
Oh,
But it looks like you look like
it's
one
like
of those
that dog
geezes-
in Up, right?
Right,
Hey,
right.
Philo.
My name's Doug. Squirrel.
Yeah. Hey, Doug. Put your head in front of that B, the letter B, and get closer to the camera. Doesn't he look like a holy saint with a radio? Like,
Oh, yes. You got your
like,
halo.
how much time I have got behind me? Oh.
It's appropriate because it's Christmas time.
Yeah. It's Christmas, doggo.
Oh my.
Uh,
Any last questions or
No,
comments before we let these fine gentlemen retire to the bathroom before their back teeth float?
Yes. Why do
Yeah.
the Toking Dead guys have detachable wieners?
So you can take it home with you.
Ew.
Oh, very good. For a
Follow-
little extra.
Wow.
That's right.
By the way, Mr. Lord Red,
yes.
what do you like most about being the quietest one here?
Well, a lot of times I'm quiet because I'm checking screens, and if you saw my computer, it's like a control panel. I have
Right.
5 screens
Like
up, and
it's like the Star
Yeah.
Trek Enterprise.
yeah, got a lot to keep an eye on.
Yeah. Leo is the mastermind behind the production aspect of what you all got to see tonight. So, any last questions for these amazing gentlemen, Jeffrey?
We
No,
we thank you, Leo.
I get all my questions.
Leo, any last questions for one of our?
No, actually. I'll show you a picture later. Nothing on Facebook and YouTube. I think I caught up.
They
with all that.
ran. They're zombies.
Well, they're
Saw
still
my
watching.
bow and arrow
I see a
stuff.
bunch of people watching, and I want to thank everybody for watching this evening. And
Yes,
so
thank you.
the
We
next
appreciate
con, so you guys have some fun stuff you're going to be doing in January. But
Yes,
I
sir.
believe you said the next con is going to be Northeast Comic Con in March.
No, the next con is going to be in St. Charles, St. Me, at
Now,
the Desert Run Hotel on the 3rd and the 4th.
If people
Zerko.
want to find your cons, is there a link at Silver Phoenix or anything that depicts shows people where you're going to be?
Go to either Philo Barnhart Art, go to Charles D. Moisant on Facebook, or go to Philo Barnhart. I usually am very good about posting art
Okay.
conventions on my personal site.
Okay.
Awesome.
I gotta stop being lazy and put the stuff on Silver Phoenix. I keep forgetting it. I keep putting it on my own personal stuff.
Hey,
I'm
for a
also
small
learning
fee, I can do
Twitter.
that for you too.
Wow. I'm learning Twitter and other stuff. And in January, we're going to be at Vic Mignogna's Star Trek set, hanging out,
Awesome.
just goofing around, drinking like eggnog and peppermint, something like that.
I
Sorian
do
Brand-
I do have one more quick question for Philo, and I just remembered it. You had mentioned that you still teach.
Yes.
Can you quickly touch on that? We don't have much time, but can you just quickly tell our viewers what are you teaching, and if they were interested, how could they maybe get into this industry?
Oh, don't.
I agree.
Well, I teach basic animation techniques for traditional animation. That is with a pencil and paper or even a tablet nowadays. People can animate right into the computer using a tablet or a Cintiq computer, which means you can do it right on the screen. Yeah. So you
Nice.
can learn techniques from me and be on your way to making your first movie.
Very cool.
This I'll say in all seriousness. Another thing that we like to do is if the host for the conventions will have us, we like to come in a day or two too early. You know, like if the show's on a Friday, maybe come in on a Thursday, and do some teaching at a local high school or a local college.
Oh,
you know,
nice.
art classes, things like that.
That's
Wow.
And
Wow.
the younger people realize
Something
that
we've
it's
done many
feasible.
times.
Right.
Yeah.
For example, what I'll do is I'll have students come up and I'm like, hey kid, get up here. Draw
I
something."
wonder. Sorry, before I forget, Jeff.
sir.
Remind me later to reach out to Michael Lee.
Michael.
Oh,
YC3 in Maine.
Oh, okay.
oh, that'd be cool. Oh, I'd love
He's-
to do a show in Maine.
He's they're putting on their very first con called YC3. I believe it's January 23rd in Wells, Maine. But
That'd
it's
be
for
cool.
but it's for an art department.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you guys. I didn't know that you guys
were.
were. Yeah, I didn't know that you guys were into things like that. I mean, it might
Right.
be.
Oh, yeah, we've done a lot of educational shows.
I don't know.
and-
Yeah, I don't know if it would work out on such short notice, but maybe it's something he could think about in
Yeah.
hindsight and maybe add for another
Right.
con or
right,
something.
or if you can
Or
get a
even just
sponsor.
getting you guys up there to do a guest teaching would be
Right.
fucking
No,
awesome.
We've done that. I mean, Philo is great at, one thing that Philo and I did is we'd have the students draw figures. Then Philo would take the figures and then draw it in a layout on a scene. And then the kids are like, oh my God, my stuff's real on a scene. And for that moment, they're the star. They're important. They
Yep.
feel like they experience what Philo has experienced when he first started in the industry of seeing their work as something important. And imagine if you're a high school kid and you got normal self-doubt and your normal insecurities, and these two old guys come in, and all of a sudden, their work means something. We help
I don't
them
mean to laugh.
see
Sorry.
how cool their work is. I mean, how inspiring is it? In fact, there have been students that Philo's had that I've actually mined and did some comic books, and some of them have gone on to very big, very quote famous things. In fact, one of your students, Philo, isn't she working
couple of
for a
them are
major,
running their
motion
own
picture
studios.
company? Yeah. What studio?
Three of my students started their own studios.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
One of them's here, and the other two are in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Wow.
just the right type of spark, like one philosophy that I have is, you know why this moment is happening? You know why Philo Barnhart is here? You know why all of you are seeing us?
Why?
You matter. And the world is better because you're here. Never forget that. And the reality is all of us are important, all of us are integral, and all of us can do amazing things. Yeah, there can be some problems. You can always talk about the negative stuff. But if you work on your mission to inflict joy and happiness on others, perhaps the anger, the despising, the pejorative attitudes will abate.
Polarization.
Yes.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna assume that that's Charles's outro.
Yeah. My outro is check out my website, silverphoenix.net, History of Police in America. My goal with that book is to help younger people realize police officers are just like us, men and women with jobs, not horrific overlords like the media has falsely portrayed. Yes, there are problems, but at the same time, most of them are good men and women. Also, a shout out to my son, who's going to be graduating boot camp very soon. And
Hey,
he's
Sam.
becoming a United States
Yay,
reservist
Samuel,
in the
go
Army.
get him.
And a truck driver. And then my daughter, I'm very proud of her. She's becoming a kinesiologist, does sports medicine.
Ashley.
Yes, and we love Ashley. She's great. I do have
Excellent.
wonderful children.
Awesome.
And Philo has a wonderful, incredible stepson, Bowen.
We're gonna flip this to Philo. Last words for our viewers, Philo, as far as kind of similar to what Charles just did, I guess. Or not so similar.
If you if you have a dream that you've been pursuing, don't ever let anybody else sway you from it. Don't let
Like
them tell
Jeffrey
you
Dahmer.
you can't do a thing. You go out and you prove them wrong, and you do it.
That's
Just
right.
stick with it.
That's right.
Awesome.
Give it
We're
your
living,
due
we're living,
diligence.
we're
and
living
be
proof of
persistent.
that.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah, I stuck with it. Here I am.
Yep. And unlike Jeffrey Dahmer, who lived out his dream, Philo's still alive and not in jail.
Well, he had a different kind of dream.
He liked
does that have to
having
do with anything?
Saturday beef
Oh, my.
and Christmas ham.
I'm just curious.
Oh, jeez.
Really? What the fuck did that have to do with anything?
That's from
So,
left
just like
field.
Jeffrey Dahmer, you know.
That's from left field.
Why is it that people love me at parties? It's like
I have no idea.
The more normal I seem.
All right, very
well,
good.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, any last words for the viewers?
I want to.
He wants to kiss Philo. That's what he's saying.
I want to get what?
No thanks. I use toilet paper.
Your loss.
I want to thank Philo, Charles, for being here. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you for viewing. You know, this will be, you'll be able to see it. It'll be on the page. You guys rock. You're awesome. A lot of good information there. I learned a little bit that I didn't know because I don't really watch Disney. I'm kidding. So yeah, cool.
So,
I'm
just-
Bojo the Clown.
I just want to say, you know, first of all, thank you to Philo and Charles for being here tonight, sharing your journeys through your industry. We learned a lot. I hope our viewers learned a lot.
Why
We
did you
love
want
you.
me on the show?
You-
I don't get it.
Hey, listen, I was forced to have you here. Philo said he wouldn't do it unless Charles was part of it, okay?
Really? Well, thank you, Philo.
Also, I'd like to say congratulations on your very first show.
Oh, yes, this is our inaugural show.
Everybody, give a
And
round of applause.
we would like to say congratulations to you on 30 years of The Little Mermaid and 40 years of Star Trek the Motion Picture. Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you for everything you've done for this industry, for the youth. As
The youth.
always, we'd like to thank our veterans and our first responders for doing everything they do every day so people like us sitting up here can do this for you guys. Leo, you want to take us out of here?
Yeah. So if you would like to follow up with anybody you saw on the show here, check the show notes down below or up above, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. You'll find all the links there. Definitely check out Silver Fox Entertainment. Silver Fox.
Negative.
Silver Phoenix.
Slap him.
Sorry, silverphoenix.net.
Horrible.
And you need the net to catch the bird.
Silverphoenix.net, and all the links are down below or up above. I want to thank you all for watching, and if you're looking for more entertainment, in about 20 minutes we'll be doing another live stream doing our Star Wars show, and I want to thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Go.
Peace.